Hello again, my little conscripts, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, I want to share with you a striking observation. Something that I've noticed about a lot of the new units that Games Workshop has been releasing. You see, many of them are not living up to the hype. And when they're initially announced and players get to see them from a distance, they look really cool and epic. But when we get to the crunch, they are sadly falling short. Way short. And what's more worrying is these problems seem to be intrinsically baked into the foundations of these units. Meaning that they're not only lackluster now, they're not only bad now, but they're going to have problems for a long time to come. And with that ominous statement made, let's not mess around. Let's dive right into this thing. So let's cut right to the chase. I think the big problem with GW's recent units is they're all built around gimmicks. They're all built around a cool trick, and they don't have any real substance to them. Let me give you an example. The recent Tempestus Aquilans. These guys hit the scene and everybody was excited for them. New kinds of scions that could deep strike in 3 inches away from the enemy. Oh my god, the tactical implications were amazing. People started working out how this could pair with rapid ingress and how they could start being used to like move block people. Really, really cool. And at first, this unit was considered really powerful and really good. But then GW nerfed them. And what GW did is they said, well, you can't use the deep strike in 3 inches away when it's with rapid ingress, because that's move blocking people too much. And at first people were like, okay, well, that's really heavily nerfed the unit. It's not ideal, but hey, we can still deep strike 3 inches. GW came in and said, no, you can only deep strike 6 inches away. So their whole gimmick was, you can deep strike really, really close to people. And it actually had some interesting tactical implications. But the moment that the gimmick got nerfed, the moment that the gimmick got messed with, the moment that the trick got changed, well, the unit fell apart. And the reason the unit fell apart, the reason why Aquilans couldn't just pivot to being a cool pseudo scion unit which had a bunch of assault weapons, it's because they didn't have anything else. Take a look at the Tempestus Aquilans. What do you see? You see all these weapons, all of these options, but the reality is you get a squad of 10 guys. There's no flexibility. There's no 5 to 10. No, you have to take 10. And they essentially just get a bunch of hotshot las carbines. One guy in a 10-man squad can get a plasma weapon or a melter weapon. One guy. That is less than a battle line unit of Catachan jungle fighters. Think about it. Catachans can get 2 flamers. These guys get 1. These guys get 1 special weapon. Now you might say, but Mordian, what about the sentry? Okay, fair enough, they do have the sentry. They do have the sentry. So they can equal a unit of Catachans. But they still lose out to a unit of Deathcore Krieg. A basic unit of Deathcore Krieg. Which can have a plasma pistol and a power sword on the sergeant. And then can have a plasma gun and a melter gun. And even then, if you look at the Deathcore alone, or the Cadence, you're getting 2 or 3 useful weapons. You're not getting like a sentry flamer or hotshot volley gun. Like these, like flamers, volley guns, grenade launchers. They're okay. They're okay weapons, but plasma melter beats them every single time. So this unit of Aquilans, it died. It's dead. No one takes Aquilans anymore. Maybe 1 squad. That's it. But no one seriously is taking Aquilans spam or lots of Aquilans, and you see many lists that go without them. And why is that? Because they couldn't pivot. They had nothing to fall back on. Their whole identity, their whole shtick was the precision drop. And when the gimmick got messed with, the unit fell away. Compare this to something like Tempest's Scions. Now, Scions came out ages ago. I mean, this kit must be getting on to 10 years old at this point. Someone who knows more about this, let me know down in the comment section when the Scion kit was released. Scions have been around forever. And they've had different abilities come and go over time. Sometimes the abilities have been rerolls, like it is right now, Stormtrooper. Sometimes it's been rerolls to hit, sometimes it's been rerolls to wound. But they've had many different abilities come and go. But one of the things that's always allowed Scions to be viable, always allowed Scions to be a choice, is the fact that they don't rely upon their ability. They don't rely upon their gimmick. When their ability isn't so good, they've got flexibility to fill in the gaps. So firstly, you can take them in a 5 to 10 man squad. So you can either, when Scions are really powerful and punchy, you can take a 10 man squad of them, load them up with loads of weapons, which we'll get to in a moment, and they can do punch. When Scions aren't very punchy, they can still be taken in a 5 man squad and do objectives. Even at the time of recording, with Bridgehead looking the way it is, I still think you're going to see people taking squads of Scions. I don't think you'll see Gigablob spam left, right, and center. But I think what a lot of Guard players are going to have to come to terms with is the fact that there's very little in the Guard Codex that costs even 70 points that can deep strike in and do secondaries. You're just going to take like one squad of them. But also, even if you know, we talked about those other weapon options, right? Whether you're taking them as a little suicide objective doer, or you're taking them as an absolute smash unit. Because Scions, they don't get one melter gun. In a 10-man squad, they're getting four. They're getting 4. 2 melter guns, 2 plasma guns, 4 special weapons. And the sergeant's getting a plasma pistol and power sword. A power fist, even. The point is, Scions are flexible. Scions aren't based around a gimmick. Scions are still relevant. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, Mordian. That's just like one example. Okay, well, let me give you another example. Krieg Engineers. Krieg Engineers. Really, really cool unit. Hyped up. Everyone loved it when they were coming back. Finally, the Krieg were getting their own elite infantry. We've got Scions, we've got Kazakin, and now we've got the Kriegers, the new poster boys of the Guard, getting their own elite infantry. But as more and more information got revealed about them, more and more issues started to bubble beneath the surface. Now, sure, Krieg Engineers are a little bit more flexible. They can be taken in 5 or 10-man squads, but their weapon options are trash. Like, actually trash. Like, you can have a flamer. And even if you take a 10-man squad, you don't get 2 flamers. No. Whether it's a 5-man squad or a 10-man squad, for some reason, you get a flamer. And your sergeant can take a flame pistol. Maybe even one whole plasma pistol. Ooh. And it's like, okay, what am I meant to do with this? It's not like the kit comes with any other special weapons. This is the big issue. The kit, the box of Engineers, only comes with like a flamer and a couple of options for the sergeant. That's what I mean by things being fundamentally baked into the unit. Aquilans only have the ability to take one guy with a special weapon because that's all the kit allows you to build. Kriegers only allow you a very limited selection of weapons because that's what the kit comes with. So the Engineers, it's like, okay, well, what's the big deal around them? Okay, well, they've got a gimmick. They've got a gimmick. They've got a remote mine, and they can get free grenades. Okay, that's good, but then GW's mess with the remote mine. So they messed with the points costs. They made the remote mine way less impactful, and Engineers, in the space of 2 months since they were released, about 3-4 weeks since they were tournament legal, have gone from being, oh, you want 3 of these in every single army, to, no, you don't want any of them. Why? Because their whole thing was based around being able to do cheap mortal wounds. But now GW's messed with the mortal wounds and messed with the points cost of the unit. Haven't got anything to fall back on. They're built around a gimmick. And they don't have the options to pivot. Again, let's make another comparison. Kazakin. Kazakin are an elite Cajun unit. They're an elite regimental unit that can scout, like engineers can scout. And yet Kazakin are really good. And it's nothing to do with their points cost. Kazakin points have gone up and down over the course of 10th edition. They've gone up and down. But even when they were at their most expensive, which I think was like 120 points, people would still take them. They just wouldn't necessarily spam them. You'd still see people having space for 1 or 2 of these squads in their armies in tournament lists. Why? Because they weren't built around a gimmick. They had some very powerful options, like the Melter Mine is really cool and does a few mortal wounds. But the unit isn't identified. The unit isn't defined by the Melter Mine. Warrior Elite is a fantastic ability, and the unit can heavily rely upon it. But if Warrior Elite suddenly changes, it's okay because they can still be ordered. So just if they can't order themselves, they can still receive orders. So that's not a problem. So Warrior Elite doesn't fundamentally define the unit. These are powerful abilities. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to play them down. These are powerful abilities, but they're not the be-all and end-all. They are part of the bigger picture of what makes Kazakin so good. And when these abilities get messed with, or these abilities become less relevant, or Kazakin points go up, because they have got more than one thing that identifies them. They've got Scouts, plus Warrior Elite, plus Melter Mine, plus they've got loads and loads of war gear options. Like Scions, these guys can get 4 special weapons. Then you've got the hot shot marksman from that, so that's like 5 special weapons. Then you've got the sergeant. Like in a normal squad of Kazakin, 2 guys are running around with rifles. Everyone else is running with something special, even if it's just a Voxcaster. In a 10-man squad of engineers, you've got a sergeant, a flamer guy, and a mountain mine, a remote mine guy. In a Kazakin squad, 80% of the models are packing heat. In an engineer squad, it's 30%. The engineer squad is built around its ability, which is a gimmick. And the kit doesn't have the flexibility to allow the unit to pivot. Kazakin come with some great abilities, but even if those abilities get messed with, fundamentally, they've got the war gear, they've got the options, they've got the flexibility to be able to adapt, improvise, and overcome. Now, I know that I'm starting to flog a dead horse here, which is why I thought it would be appropriate to move over to the cavalry. Death Riders. They're in a similar boat. Death Riders have no war gear options. Not a little war gear options. 0 war gear options. They only have what they come with. They've got Frag Lance, Power Saber, and some claws. And a goddamn Las Carbine. Ooh. There's nothing here. It's just nothing here. So what are we taking this unit for? Oh, it's ability, screening line. Well, the ability is okay on paper, but the reason why Death Riders were dead on arrival, really cool unit. And we're not talking all Death Riders. You can take like 1 squad of them. You can combine them with Dreer. If the points change around that, 1 squad of Death Riders might be a very, very viable thing. But here's the thing. You'd only ever see 1. You see 30 Kazakin in lists all the time. Even if they bring the points cost on Death Riders, even if they bring the points cost down on Dreer, you'd only ever see 1 unit of them in 10th edition, and you'd only ever see them being led by Dreer. You'd never see them doing anything else, because this unit is built around a gimmick. It's built around interacting with Dreer's mortal wounds, devastating wounds. So as a result, You never see anyone taking Death Riders independently outside of that combo. The combo's a good combo. It's a little expensive, it's a good combo. But that's my point. It's a gimmick. And when that gimmick can't be done efficiently, people don't take them. Which is a shame, because these models are really cool. And when I first saw these models and I first saw the points cost that were associated with them in the codex, I thought, wow, these guys are going to be good because of that gimmick. But from the get-go, I never said you'd be taking 30 of them. I mean, you've always got the meme of taking the full, like, 60 cavalry list, Rough Riders and Death Riders. But it's a skew list. But for the everyman on the street, you're not going to take Death Riders because they're built around a gimmick. And their gimmick right now is too expensive. Their trick is too expensive. Compare that to Rough Riders. Now, Rough Riders don't get much in the way of options, to be fair. But they do get 3 different kinds of lance, essentially. You've got the goad lance, and then the hunting lance can be used in frag and melter tip. Now, even if you don't take the goad lance, you just look at the hunting lance. Because every single person in the squad can go with the melter tip, which actually has some punch between lance and the strength and the AP and the damage, because the unit is flexible in terms of what it can take on. Whilst Rough Riders aren't a meta choice, they're seen as an interesting choice. You are seeing people taking them on their own for their own merits, not for a trick, because there's flexibility in the design. Riders aren't even a particularly old unit, but you can see, like, they're not one-dimensional. That's the problem with so many units. They're so one-dimensional. And the issue is that they're not always relevant. And the problem is that we're seeing this occurring more and more as part of the design philosophy of GW's releases. We're seeing everything becoming a one-trick pony. And nothing exemplifies this more than Lord Marshal Dreer. The whole reason you would take this guy is for his Dev Wounds ability. That's it. That's all he does. He is, ironically, not tough to kill. He's not. He's T4 with like 6 wounds and a 4-up save. Bolt of Fire will sweep this guy aside without much issue whatsoever. His damage output individually is laughable. And for some reason he can do 3 orders when realistically he's never going to benefit from having 3 orders, because not only is the only reason you take him as Dev Wounds, but he's incredibly limited on what he can lead. He can only lead Death Riders. The moment that didn't say and Deathcore of Krieg, he was dead. He's dead. Because he's built around a trick. Dreer leads 1 squad of Death Riders, and those Death Riders Dev Wound things to death. Oh, sorry, we changed the points cost, so now Death Riders and Dreer cost more than most of your main battle tanks. Shame. Guess you won't be taking him then. Weird. Compare this to the Lord Solar. Now, I may not be the biggest fan of Leontis's model. He looks like he's been ported over from Age of Sigmar. But god damn it, this guy has been consistently a good unit. He's still a good unit in the Codex. A lot of people say he's not as good because he can't order like super heavies and whatnot, but he's still fantastic. Why? Because he's built around several different things, not one thing. So firstly, his stat line is okay. He's a bit more durable, but most guard characters, you don't really care about the stat line. You don't really care about the offensive output. That's nice to have. If he gets into a pickle, he might be able to fight his way free of a squad of intercessors, but that's about it, right? The thing is, though, he's a good support character, because not only can he issue 3 units, not only does he give you strategic redeploys, not only does he give you extra CP, but look at the list of things he can join. Whilst this is the important thing with leaders. Whilst his equipment is limited, his abilities all do different things, and he can join so many different units. He can join pretty much anything. He could... Lord Solar Leontus can join Krieg combat engineers. Lord Marshal Dreer can't. The Lord Solar Leontus can join more Krieg units than the new named special character of the Krieg. I think, more than anything, that exemplifies the problem that I'm talking about. But I want to make something clear. Not every unit that GW has newly released to the Guard has had this problem. It's just so many of them had. The artillery team, for example, has got a bit of a crappy ability, but the fact that its war gear is flexible, the fact that the heavy mortar, the quad launcher, the multi-rocket launcher, and the siege cannon are all sufficiently different from each other, it's got that flexibility. So yeah, it might be a little bit overcosted, and yeah, its ability might be a bit rubbish, but people are still taking them and still pivoting to them because they've got some flexibility. And you've also got the Krieg Heavy Weapon Squad, which has a great ability, but even if it didn't, it's got 3 different weapon options which it can pivot to. Although it's worth noting that that is still 40% less weapon options than the Kachan and the Cadian Heavy Weapon Squad. So we are still seeing a bit of limitation even in some of these good units. And we see this limitation in comparison to its peers with things like the Krieg Command Squad as well. The Krieg Command Squad, you can have one guy with a special weapon. You have to take the guy with the flag. You have to take the guy with the Massive Vox. You have to take the guy with the Alchemic Counter Agents. The only flexibility you get is around the Lord Commissar's loadout, which really there's no flexibility there because you're always going to take Plasma Pistol and Power Fist under the current design philosophy of free war gear. And likewise, you're always going to take the Cadet Commissar with the Plasma Pistol and Power Weapon as well. I mean, technically there's a bit of flexibility there, but realistically there isn't. And then it's a choice between a Plasma Gun and a Melter Gun. So out of the 6 models in the unit, 3 of them are completely fixed loadout, 2 of them have got the illusion of choice, and 1 of them you have to really make a decision. And I know many of you are thinking at this point, oh God, Morty, we get the point, but just a couple of last quick ones. You can actually see in real time GW limiting things more and more with using command squads as an example. So we've seen the Krieg one, which is the most recent one. That's the most limited command squads we've had. Like I said, only 1 model with any real choice behind it. Then we get to the Cadian command squad. Now the Cadian command squad isn't as old as the Krieg one. It came out about 2 years ago. In here you get 5 models, but 2 of them have got fixed loadouts. You have to take the Medipack guy and you have to take the Master Vox. You have to. Now, you do have a fair degree of flexibility around some of the other choices. You don't have to take the flag, unlike in the Krieg squad where you do have to. And so there's a proper choice to be made there between flag and a special weapon. And then the other one of the other veteran guardsmen, there's a lot of choice there between do you go special weapon or do you go like Power Fist and Plasma Pistol with him. And then the Cadian commander, obviously he's got that illusion of choice where you're always going to take the Power Fist and Plasma Pistol. But the point is, at least there's quite a few options here. You can see it. But even the Cadian command squad is incredibly limited in comparison to the command squads of old. Because let's look at the Kachan command squad. Now the Kachan command squad is essentially the platoon command squad reskinned, right? And because there was so many people with so many different options, because of how this old kit actually goes together, every single guardsman can be equipped with a different special weapon. Every single guardsman can be equipped with a different bit of special war gear. You can go for the Medipack Master Vox Regimental Standard 1 special weapon, tooled up commander, the classic command squad loadout, or you can go tooled up commander and 4 people with special weapons. But no one's forcing you to take a Master Vox. No one's forcing you to take a Medipack. There's utter and complete customization in this unit. And it's amazing. And it just feels like absolute insanity that the kit that is the oldest in this example, by a long way, is the one that offers the most player choice, is the one that offers the most hobbyist choice, and is the one that just feels like the nicest to interact with. Even if its ability, a lot of people overlook it. When comparing the 3 command squads, the Katan command squad kind of feels like the best. And to 100,000,000% over-egg the pudding, the horse is no longer dead, it's been sent to the factory for glue. Look at things like the Leman Russ kit versus the Rogel Dawn. Not only do we have 7 Leman Russ data sheets, because we've got 7 different main weapons for the Leman Russ, 8 if you include the tank commander, but let's just look at the basic ones for now. 7 Leman Russ data sheets, and you've got so many different sponsor options, and then you compare it to the Rogel Dawn, which has got 1 data sheet, and you've got a choice of 2 sponsons. It's like half the sponson choice, and then you've got a couple of meld guns, a couple of heavy stubbers. That's it. That's your choice. Now, I'm not saying the Rogel Dawn is a super limited unit. It's not. To be fair, you've got the oppressor cannon versus the twin battle cannon. So there's 2 choices there, but it's not 7 turret choices. See what I mean? You've got the pulverizer cannon versus the Gatling cannon. That's fair enough. That's like picking between. Well, I guess the Lemus has got the las cannon and the heavy bolt and the heavy flamer. So that's 3 choices. Okay. I suppose the Rogel Dawn does get melter guns versus heavy stubbers, whereas the Russ will get a storm bolter or a heavy stubber. Then you do have the hunter killer that gets thrown in there as well. So you know what? I'm going to give it to the Russ again. It's got 3 options. You can even say it's got 2 options, then an additional extra option, which the Dawn doesn't have. But however you slice it, however you stack it up, it's got more. And like I said, you get to the sponsors, and the Russ has what? Got 4 different sponsor choices. Bolters, flamers, multi-melters, plasma cannons. And the Rogel Dawn has got heavy bolters and multi-melters. Those are too extreme. One of the best bits about the Russ, the thing that keeps it in contention with the Dawn, no matter how much GW pumps this unit up, it sounds crazy, but it's the fact that the Russ gets a las cannon and gets plasma cannon sponsors. It's just that extra degree of flexibility. This is the problem with the Rogel Dawn. It's not one-dimensional. It's two-dimensional. It's either got anti-infantry, heavy bolters, or it's got anti-tank, multi-melters. But there's no option to turn it into a flame ball. There's no option to give it that intermediate option with the plasma cannons. And I know it's not just me that has had this issue with the Dawn, but it never fits quite right. Let me know. Be honest. Put it down in the comment section. How many times have you found yourself wishing you could give your Rogel Dawn plasma cannon sponsons? It's just like, it's not that the multi-melters are bad, it's not the heavy bolters are bad, it's just that it's been a few times and you really wish it had those plasma cannon sponsons. But for some reason, it doesn't. The Rogel Dawn, again, it came out 2 years ago, but I would say this is when we started seeing this philosophy creeping in. These kits which are becoming less flexible, more one-dimensional, with less options, which never quite fit perfectly to what the player wants. Because each player's going to want something different. Some players will love the Rogel Dawn the way it is. But for me, and I know for a lot of others, the Rogel Dawn has always been like 90% right. But by missing some of those sponsor options and some of those other bonus bits you can put onto it, like the las cannon and stuff, never quite been perfect. And when you compare it to the Leman Russ, which is a kit which has been out God knows, like a decade. The current iteration, I mean, 6th edition codex, right? 5th edition codex, maybe even, yeah, the 5th edition codex. It's been out for 5 editions, at least a decade, the current Rust plastic kit. And there is a Leman Russ for everyone out there. Doesn't matter whether you want to take the most meta choice or you want to take a fluff choice. You'll always find a Leman Russ that suits your playstyle. You can't say the same for the Rogel Dawn. And the last thing to say about all of this, because we've talked about all of these in the context of sort of 10th edition, the here and now. My big worry with this whole thing is that these limitations are baked into the plastic, the physical product. GW is pursuing this philosophy of you can only have what you get in the kit. And that would be fine if the kits were coming with all of the options that you need to make a really flexible, long-lasting, enduring unit. But they're saying you can only use options that come in the kits. And then, in many cases, not all to be fair, but in many cases, the kits are becoming more limited. I know that's happened with loads of Space Marine units. Look at the old Death Company versus the new Death Company. And you might say they're doing it in the pursuit of balance. But there's one thing that I would always remind people, which is that rules are temporary. But models are forever. So having these limitations baked into the kits as part of the foundations of the physical models that you are building, to me, sets them up to have long-term issues. The current GW design philosophy seems to be built on sand. The old design philosophy built on stone. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Genuinely get those thoughts down there, because this is something that I've noticed. But I am but one man with my own worldview. And I'm sure that there'll be lots of examples out there which can support what I've said. And I'm sure there'll be lots of examples out there which can contradict and disprove what I've said. But let's look at this big picture. Overall, do we think these models are getting more limited? Do we think we're getting less options? Do we think things are becoming one-dimensional? And what do we think the long-term implications could be? And most importantly, something I haven't really touched upon is, why do you think they're doing it? Is this in the name of short-term balance? If so, is that short-sighted? Or is that, in the long term, going to make the game better? Easier for GW to tweak levers from edition to edition? If you enjoyed today's video, as always, go ahead and smash that like button. If you didn't enjoy it, go ahead and dislike it, because it all interacts with the video anyway, and the YouTube algorithm can't tell the difference between likes and dislikes. It just sees interactivity. And if you want to see more content like this, then make sure you subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing, truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.